uncle wanted to be in the movie. 'Cause I didn't know who that was.
It's funny you say that because my mom swears that he looks just like my great-grandfather. And what's funny, Quint, when in the scene where he's telling Hooper, Cage go in the water, you in the water, sharks in the water, our shark. That particular scene, and Josh, you met my grandfather before, he looks exactly like my grandfather. Like that only scene, the rest of the movie, he doesn't look like him. That particular scene, the way he moves his head and moves his lip, that's exactly the way my grandfather looked and talked.
Wow.
Dun, dun, dun.
So my grandfather was in Jaws and Robert Shaw faked his death.
Oh, man. All right. Do you have anything else you want to throw in about Jaws?
Oh, man, just the fact that that's another reason why a lot of these movies do not hold up to Jaws. It's for the fact, the shark was not working half the time. Made it to the point where, okay, the shark's not working. We had to make sure this movie shows there's a shark in there. So they used the barrel. They used the music underwater to get you an idea of the shark. And, of course, when you finally see the shark, yeah, it's not pretty cool now. But at the time, like the first scare where, like, Brody's throwing the chum, the first time you get to see the shark, you're like, wow, that's like badass.
I personally think the movie has aged well because, it has everything you need it to have.
It still scared me.
Yeah, that movie scares the shit out of me. I'm definitely afraid of. I go fishing all the time. I go deep sea fishing, but one thing you never see me do is go past 2 feet of water in the beach. You never see me go past 2 feet of water. I have felt things on my legs. I know what sharks feel like, and I know what rubbed against my leg. I'm pretty sure it was probably the size of like 1 foot. Still, and that's one of my biggest fears is being, eaten alive. I'm pretty sure that's a lot of fears for everybody else, but yeah, that to me, that movie's. I don't know. I'm such a stutter because I don't know what to say. But okay, what were your favorite scenes?
Just from what I saw yesterday, or from what I remembered all this time?
Well, any of them.
Because there was so much in the movie that I did not remember at all. I don't ever remember seeing. I don't remember seeing Gardner's head pop out.
Really? That's like a.
And then we saw it yesterday. Yeah. I don't remember the scene where there are too many people getting onto the boat, and then Dreyfus is like Hooper's. His name's Hooper, right?
Yes.
Where he's like, "Yep, they're gonna die. All of them are gonna die."
Gentlemen, the chief told me that you guys are overloading that boat. Yeah. What do you?
Yeah.
Ahead.
What made me laugh was the graffiti.
Which graffiti? Oh,
on the
billboard.
Yeah.
Oh, shark!
And then he was like, "That's life size." I'm like, "Oh wow."
And Hooper was just laughing when he saw it. He was just laughing.
Oh man, that just reminded me. Someone actually made a copy of National Geographic from 1975 and put Matt Hooper's face on it. Because you remember that scene? He's like, "You'd like to prove that, wouldn't you? Get your name with a National Geographic." But someone made that and they sold it on eBay for like $200.
Oh wow!
I was like, I want that. But Jaws has a humongous fan base, in my opinion. You really don't see figures and T-shirts of like The Godfather very much. Another movie that's old I can actually see still hold the test of time and have a really long, following is probably Scarface.
Yeah, I can agree with you saying that. I'd also like to point out that you have an entire armful of a Jaws poster tattoo.
Yeah, on my arm.
That was your first tattoo that you committed to it. Jaws meant that much to you.
Well, like when you asked me how come you don't have a tattoo, my answer was like, well, if I'm gonna have a tattoo, I want it to mean something, and 2, look badass. And you kept on like, maybe I can, maybe do a Mario Brothers one, but like, or maybe I can do like Zangief. Me and you talked about it all the damn time until I finally like stare at my many posters of Jaws on my wall. I was like, why not fucking Jaws? And I told you about it, and you're like, that's going to be expensive. Like, I don't care. Because if I'm going to get a tattoo, it's not going to be some kind of like, I mean, I'm not going on anybody's tattoo choices, but I don't want it to look like a fucking stick figure with diarrhea on it. I want it to look exactly like the movie poster.
Well, with that being said, I threw that out there just so people know how important this movie is to you, that you've committed to being scarred for life with it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you cannot watch that movie with me. You cannot. I'm always watching that by myself unless I'm with my mom because she doesn't care. But I'm quoting the whole movie through the whole time, so don't watch it with me.
But all right, that's all we've got for this evening. Deb, do you have anything you want to contribute?
No, I'm good.
I do want to point out and plug the social medias. That's Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and that's Cast of the Pod. Cast of the Pod. Chuckles, anything you want to throw out there?
Due by the 45th anniversary of Jaws on 4K. That's probably one of the best things I ever.
As we lost your signal, all I heard is
definitely buy this movie. Definitely watch it. Don't let these classic movies go die. I don't see Jaws dying, but it's a great summer movie to watch in the summer, especially for little kids. It's a great movie too.
That is a great segue, and it ties into what we're talking about here on this podcast, Cast of the Pod. Some people ask, why horror? Why not? Everybody gets scared about. You can't find one person that doesn't get scared of something. And most horror fans really don't get scared of their movies. They just enjoy it, and they enjoy the feeling from watching horror movies. And that's what we were here to discuss, except for Chris's podcast where he wants to talk about a movie he hates.
Well, there's a reason why horror makes so much money. You know what I mean? You can get like the shittiest fucking zombie movie ever. Like, what's that one we saw? Clowns in a Tornado?
Clownado, yeah.
Clownado. It looks shitty as hell, but me and Josh actually watched that whole thing from beginning to end in the driveway.
On a laptop in the driveway. Threw the DVD on there.
It's pure entertainment. I mean, the whole time we were just talking shit about it, but we end up watching it through the whole thing. You know what I mean? I mean, our body is just designed for like that fake scare.
I thought you were a sea lion getting eaten by Jaws right now. Arr. No,
that was a.
No, don't go there.
You knew already.
But we'll call that the end of today's podcast. Here at Cast of the Pod, we were talking about Jaws, especially since it is the 45th anniversary. This being our third podcast, Deborah?
Yes.
Our third podcast in this series. And like I said, if you want to join the podcast, as in be a special guest here, all you have to do is hit us up, direct message us, slide into the DMs or whatever you call it on Cast of the Pod for Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. All right, y'all, that's all we have for now. I'm Josh.
And I'm Deb.
And our special guest today
is Chuckles, or Bob. Did I choose Bob?
Bob the Chuckles, yeah. Chuckles and Bob.
The Chuckles. And end this podcast, we're going to need a bigger boat.
We're going to need a bigger podcast. Bigger pod.
We're going to need bigger numbers.
All right, y'all. Goodbye. Have a good one. Peace.
What?